Okay, so I had some questions when I had to float the gears to get home on how I got it started and everything like that. So I'm going to go into a quick yet little more detailed description. So my clutch pedal to the floor. So I have an inoperable clutch. I'm going to keep it down so that I can start it because, you know, the clutch safety switch there. So we're going to be in gear. We're in gear, first gear. And I'm going to turn it, I'm going to start it. As soon as it starts going, I'm going to give it a little bit of throttle so it'll actually get going. All right, now we're going. A little bit of belt squeal there. It's not happy with me. So we get going. Oh wow, we have a flashing engine light. I don't know what that's about. Now we're going, float in the second. Let off the gas, float in the third. So, doing everything one-handed, of course. Gonna float into fourth. I know my floorboard's a bit of a wreck right now, but and then floating into fifth is nothing. So, there you go. But we don't need fifth right now, so we'll give it a little gas and back into fourth. So you're gonna have to rev match. So I would recommend that people, before anything like this goes out, you practice, you know, a little bit of like floating your gears and what happens if I lose a gear, you know, practice. Whoops, don't do that. So anyway, like that's one of the things that I prefer about manual is I don't have a clutch right now. So I have a failure, but I'm still able to get home, you know. And then to float back down into third, you know, I'm doing it very slowly, but neutral. Give it some gas and then down into third. Give it some gas and down into second. Neutral, gas, first. Now as far as stopping goes, yes, it looks like I'm stopping, but I'm not at a full stop. You gotta get back on it, or it's gonna die. Float in the second, which it doesn't like to do, plus again, oh shit, we got a truck behind us now, that's not good. Well, I'm gonna get back up on the road and then continue. Actually just coasting in neutral instead of downshifting, because that's an option. Uh-oh, now we got a car coming, so this is a problem. Then we're gonna have to do the start again. Alright, starting over. Now if I didn't have second gear, I just went into third. So I'm gonna do that actually. Let me slow down a bit. I'll demonstrate that right now. Okay, so going to first. Come on, first. There you go. Alright, so we're in first gear. Let's bring it all the way up into a higher 6500, let out, and now we're in third. Now we're gonna bog a little bit, but you can lose second gear and be fine. So we're gonna bring it up, go from third to fifth. You know, same thing with downshifting. Third or fifth into third. These are things you should practice, you know, so you have a hang of it, so you can at least get home. You know, you're at least getting back to where you need to be if you have a failure. You can't do that with an automatic. Well, when your transmission's out, it's out. But I've driven vehicles that didn't have, you know, certain gears. You know, if they're missing fifth gear, whatever, you got higher RPMs. Take mostly back roads when you can, you know, things like that. You know, missing fourth is probably the best one to lose, I guess. I don't know which one's the best one to lose, but you can get a manual home a lot of the time. So now we're gonna come up on a turn here, and we're still in third. Still do 60. You know, so if you lost fourth and fifth, that wouldn't be ideal, but you could get the vehicle to move around, especially like as like a commuter around town. So we're gonna come down in a second. Oh, we got an old guy in the field. I was like, where is that truck? I can't even figure out where that truck is. Didn't make sense. So we're gonna go from 2nd into 4th. And into 4th, no problem. So anyway, that's just kind of demonstrating. I was asked, how do you get it going, and things like that. How did you come to a stop? I never really came to a full stop because you can't. So down into 2nd, and then off you go. 3rd, 4th. Easy enough. Just a basic little rundown of how I got going, and what I did at stop signs, and threw in the fact that you can skip gears, and you should probably get a little bit of practice in that, or just kind of prepare for it for when it happens, because things fail. Doesn't matter what you got. Even Hondas fail. I've got a Neon that's also a manual, a Mustang that's a manual, and a Ranger that's a manual, and they all have something wrong with them. So things fail. It doesn't matter what brand it is.